Good Tuesday morning to you. This is the Vermont Utility Weather Hazards Outlook. This is valid the rest of today, Tuesday, through next Saturday, October the 3rd. Well, we're looking at a big soaker that's underway, and we'll see cooler below normal temperatures work into the region, especially starting on Tuesday night into Wednesday with a cold frontal passage. This will produce some pretty heavy rain. That rainfall after very dry antecedent conditions through the last few weeks. But still, this may pose headwater flooding on Wednesday and into Wednesday night with some lag effects of our tributaries. All eyes are on Tropical Storm JOAQUIN, which could affect our region this weekend or early next week. Tracks right now are all over the place. So this is Tropical Storm JOAQUIN, which is starting to get its own here, and we're starting to see growing cloud tops and thunderstorms. And you want to notice this fetch circulating around this very large area of higher pressure. This is the area of higher pressure that's been over our region, bringing us some pretty decent weather. This has all come to a close, and now we have rain that's worked around the edge of this area of higher pressure. And we have a tropical storm JOAQUIN that looks like it could develop into a hurricane. Tracking is all over the place, and we'll take a look at that. This is JOAQUIN right here, and this particular track is probably most likely going to be up off the Middle Atlantic coast, and then from there we just really don't know if it's going to cut inland, the Carolinas, Middle Atlantic coast, or take an outside track, or even up into our neck of the woods. If it did come up into our neck of the woods, it could be Sandy-esque, so we'll have to watch that because there is a very large blocking area of higher pressure that is forecast to build across this region, and the pressure gradient could be rather tight, and we could see a big strong fetch of moisture working into interior sections of New England. Okay, our near-term focus, however, is going to be a frontal boundary moving into a lot of tropical moisture being swept around this area of higher pressure, tropical sources coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. All of this is pushing into Vermont, so our scattered showers of today are going to blend into a steadier, heavier rain as this cold front charges into a very tropical air mass. So you can see the precipitation, and these are 6-hourly panels. Anytime you see that over the red, you're looking at almost here 8/500, 9/10 of an inch. So this is stretching across portions of Vermont, and that's valid. That would be during the morning. So this had fallen overnight. You can see a big surge, just about all of Vermont except the far northern tier areas, and that's good through tomorrow afternoon at about 2 o'clock, and then looks like through about 8 p.m. The heaviest batch of moisture works off to the northeast of our region. And then we're left with drier weather, although a pretty good northerly flow. This is a very cold 1038 millibar high pressure center, 1037 secondary center here, but the pressure gradient is pretty strong. This here is our tropical storm JOAQUIN, and you can see at least this is the latest European computer model run from the overnight period. This will likely be updated and changed, and I want to show you some of the discontinuity here. So we see this secondary group of moisture. This is sort of a coastal frontal system here that will try to push back north and into our neck of the woods. And this comes in on, that's valid on Saturday. So basically Friday night and Saturday things turn the corner. After a couple fairly decent project weather days, it'll be kind of damp, kind of chilly, and at the same time dry but high overcast as it looks right now. Now let's take a look at some of the discontinuity here. This is a European model, 12-hour runs, 12-hour run-to-run. So this is some of the differences we're dealing with here. Every model run has been just about all over the place, so trying to look at some of these tracks is just about impossible. This is where this would be probably a hurricane that would have moved inland here, and 12 hours later, nope, this thing's out over toward Bermuda. So quite the differences here, and it's just not even worthwhile to even try to focus on at this point. However, this particular area, we know that there's going to be a tropical cyclone or at least leftover moisture, and more than likely it's going to stream up the coast, something we're going to have to watch for this weekend. So looking at the total amount of rainfall here, this is the Water Prediction Center 7-day total of quantitative precipitation forecast, or the amount of rainfall in over 7 days accumulated. So we're talking about some pretty impressive amounts here. Now, a lot of this is going to depend on the track of Joaquin and how this moisture swings in. It could be a little bit more centered south, a little bit off the coast, a little bit more into New England. We just don't know yet. Water Prediction Center, though, is going with near 6-inch amounts. That's right, 6-inch amounts in the southern border areas. And latest thinking is really probably something like 3.5 inches of our southern 4 counties, with Rutland, Windsor, Bennington, and Windham County being most affected, and then tapering off further to the north, closer to about 1 to 1.5 inches in the northern tier areas over the course of the next 7 days. This is an 8-inch amount here, so the takeaway here, again, this is potentially 2 surges of heavy moisture. This is 2 of those combined over the next 7 days. And accumulated next 5-day max temperature anomalies were about neutral, about seasonal if you weight it all together. Colder interior sections, warmer out to sea with that southerly flow and tropical moisture, etc. What about 3 days later? Well, we get into slightly cooler conditions, as this is going to make some inroads as the weather system pulls away and we get a little bit of a chillier shot from the west. So GFS ensemble, center lining here roughly about 2.5, almost 3 inches. Again, this is centered on Burlington, so this is relatively significant. This would be during this time frame with this heaviest moisture. All of this exiting out around Wednesday evening, and then it's really not picking up yet on any kind of Joaquin moisture, but the European model is definitely starting to show something, but again, we just don't know based on the track. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.